Transformers of Eternia.
You're watching Transformers of Eternia. Now today I want to talk about some subjects dealing with the Masters of the Universe Origins line specifically, and kind of where it's going and what they could do with the line. But before I get started on that, please hit that subscribe button and like the video if you enjoy what I do. So let's check out some pictures I put together of things that kind of like symbolize what I'm talking about. So of course I gotta talk about the elephant in the room here. For some reason Origins has not released any actual toy images of Too Bad yet. And that's the one that I think a lot of you want to see in the Origins line. And you don't want to see it on Mattel Creations for like 5 minutes and it's sold out. You actually want to see it because it's a main character that you probably want in your hands, obviously. Me too. I mean, I agree. But that's something that it's mysterious that they would not have tried to create this figure and put him out. And I mean, it's just quiet. I mean, there's no talk about this. It's just, I did see an image of him on the Spike Ore packaging, on the box art or whatever in the back, but I didn't really see anything about this guy. I haven't actually seen any concept art or, images of it, the pre-render sculpt or whatever they got going, so it's kind of weird that they haven't done this. And that makes me kind of wonder what's going on with this line. I mean, Too Bad. It's a character that's really iconic and really cool looking. I mean, 2 heads on the torso. They could use that for other things in the future. I mean, well, I think Modular could use that even, but who knows. But anyway, it's kind of a cool thing. But here's some other ones, okay? Now, we did see Extendar, a few images at a show, but we haven't seen anything since then. We haven't even seen a release date or anything. It was like just a concept sitting there. Now, a lot of people want Real Blast. I know, I see it in the comments all the time. Real Blast, Real Blast. I'm not a super Real Blast fan, but I understand people like him, and that's great. I mean, you can like the character. It's perfectly fine. But I do agree, though, that he should be released because he is a main character that was in the original classic line. And if we're just going to step over a bunch of main characters to get to the cartoon animated versions of He-Man and starting all over again, and then you get to the Turtles of Grayskull, if we're just going to go right to random things on the outskirts of the line instead of actually finishing up main characters in the line, I just don't understand the business mindset that they have here. Maybe they're trying to keep the line going longer, but then again, it doesn't show up in stores, and if it does, it just sits on a shelf, because I see Mossman now starting to pile up, and it's just going to sit there on a shelf, taking up space, just like all the other things that are sitting out there. Wave 7 is still there everywhere, and it's getting close to Christmas at this time in this video. And you would think that they would want to restock and kind of do some new stock, so maybe some people will go out and buy this stuff, but it doesn't seem that that's the case. So anyway, moving on, we got Calex, I think his name. Anyway, and Dragstore. Anyway, and then we got Shadow Weaver. We got all these characters. I think that's the Wraith. Anyway, I don't know every character in Masters of the Universe. There's certain ones that I never got as a kid or I just never collected. But these are the ones that I want to see in the Horde line, or the Horde crew, basically, because they're not finishing the Horde. They just went crazy for the Snake Man, and then the line kind of died down, just like in 2000X. They went crazy for the Snake Man, and then they wanted to get to the Horde, but it's like, they went crazy for the Snake Man, made everyone bored, and then they just kind of killed the line, which it feels like that's what's kind of going on now, with the Snake Man just kind of fading out now, and then it's like, we're not really hearing any talk about a whole bunch of characters. And if they do come out, they promise that these things will be in stores, but unfortunately, I haven't seen them in the stores, and it's very rare to see new Origins figures in stores. Although Masterverse, I've seen Ram Man, I've seen all the characters for the most part a couple times, and they're in the stock. They're stocked up at Target. So it's kind of weird how they got the time to stock Masterverse, but they just can't figure out how to get those Origins on the shelf. It makes me feel like they don't want the Origins line to continue, and they just would like to support Masterverse instead. which sucks because if you're collecting Origins, then you're kind of screwed. But moving on, I would like to see them do this version of King Grayskull. I understand I'm probably racist now because I want him to be the white guy that he was, which is kind of tan actually, but whatever. And that he was in the 2000X series originally. And I would like them to do that Battle Lion, except for get the feet so they're posable, unlike the Battle Cat that we have out now that they should probably redo. But yeah, get the feet posable and make this a set, perhaps. You know, they could make... I'm waiting to throw money at them if they did that. But they don't want to do that. I don't think that they like money. I think that they just hate money. I don't think they understand what fans would pay for and give them money for. Or maybe there's just not a lot of Masters of the Universe fans out there, so they're not making enough money off the line. But that makes me wonder, then why is Masterverse still on the shelf in Target and it's consistently stocked and just sitting there? Now, sometimes they overstock and they sell these things on discount, but it seems like Masterverse always gets restocked. And also, if Mattel is so diverse and they care about so many, they try to empower women and all these things, and they try to do this stuff with the cartoon on Netflix and all this. They try to make all this stuff diverse and inclusive and all that. Well, then why are they not doing the Princess of Power stuff? You would think that that would be the first thing they jump to, is to do the Princess of Power stuff and finish the Horde female crew. I mean, there's a lot of females in the Horde. I would love to see. Shadow Weaver is my favorite female in the crew, but there's some other ones that are pretty cool in there that I would love to see them do. But it seems like they only did Shadow Weaver for the Masterverse line, but they're not going to do it for the Origins line, which is very weird to me because Shadow Weaver seems like kind of an easy character to do. There's not a lot of, different things you have to do with her. She's kind of simple, especially in the Origins line. Those are fairly simple toys to make. So you just got to make the buck for it. And then here's another one I really would like to see them do, and that is the Faceless one. I don't know if a lot of people are big fans of him, but I always thought it was cool that he's Evelyn's father in the 2000X series. And it would be kind of cool to have him have two heads where he could take off the facelessness and have him actually have a face, and kind of do whatever, but make him kind of like Mossman, come in a box or whatever, so he's like kind of a deluxe type of thing, so that you could put a couple extra things in there, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, he's pretty cool, and maybe have his face glow. I don't know. They seem to be doing pretty good with glowing figures. But yeah, the Faceless one is definitely one I would love to see. Okay, so now we got Evil Seed. Evil Seed is a character that I've always thought was cool, but I think the 2000X version is even cooler than the one that you get from the Filmation one. Now that they're doing the cartoon series, Filmation type of characters, I bet you Evil Seed is going to be a part of that, and he's going to be one of those characters that they do. And of course, a lot of fans are going to want that and everything, but that's going to diminish from the Origins basic original line that they started off with. And then they're going to want to focus more on the animation version instead of the actual Origins characters that they need to finish the Origins actual line. To get to these other lines that they have on the outskirts, like Turtles of Grayskull and the Filmation stuff. So that's just interesting that they're probably never going to get to the actual 2000X like Origins version of Evil Seed, but they'll probably definitely do the cartoon version. Now, here's one I ask for all the time. Anybody who's listened to this show or watched it on YouTube or whatever, you probably already know, because I say this way too much in a lot of other videos, but I definitely want a 2000X Man-at-Arms. And I love that big gun that he comes with. And I just want that. And I love that shoulder thing, that guard that's on his shoulder, that big giant thing. I think that's awesome. And it just makes him look more like bulky and more like Optimus Prime of the Masters of the Universe. He's kind of really super tough looking and like he's been through some stuff, like he can go to battle. But I really would like to see that because they did the stupid Snake Men version of Man-at-Arms has silver armor, which I think is really stupid because they should have done this version from the 2000X line first, then did that with the buck and the armor. So anyway, moving on to the next one. This is obviously one that my mind is boggled that they didn't do this. And this is where the conversation is going to change a little bit. Okay, so Modular is a character that has many parts, and the Origins line is like it's perfect for Modular because it's literally, you could take parts off of other characters and put them on others. So it's perfect for Modular. It's almost made perfectly for a Modular to exist. And so they have all these parts, and Modular, as you see in these pictures, he has multiple pieces he can switch out and you could change or whatever. He's just a guy that comes with arms and legs and stuff that you can stick in a box and pieces, and you can put them together like Legos, basically. So it's a perfect thing, and it makes me wonder, why aren't they doing that with other stuff? Now, they got weapons packs in the past. They've had weapons packs, okay, but the Origins line, no weapons packs. Nothing. Now, you can get some alternate versions of weapons with Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, probably. I don't know. You can get these things, but you have to buy a box set, play set, to get these things. And it's kind of stupid that they just don't sell a weapon set for like $5 or something, $20, $10, whatever they charge. It's easy money for them because all they have to do is just make a couple extra weapons, put them in packaging, and send them out. They don't even have to make a character. And that makes me also think, well, what if, since the Origins line is modular and you can just mix and match, what if they had a heads pack where you can actually buy heads of different versions of Masters of the Universe figures, or just generic ones that you can make your own character, and just kind of different styles and heads and stuff. And you could do like this, like they did with the classics here. I mean, I don't know if that was actually done by this actual Mattel or if it was somebody third party. But anyway, they had these extra heads that you can actually buy and put on your classics figures for this set. And it makes perfect sense. If they're modular, you could just literally take off the head and put on the one you like, which makes good sense to me. And it's also a good way to make money. Business-wise, it makes sense, because now you don't have to print as much plastic, and you can also make a lot of money from this, because a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I want to make my character look like this. And it's just such a mix and match line for the Origins that it would be so fun to be able to create your own character just out of the stuff that they present to you. I mean, you don't even have to do a custom then. Like these characters here, they deserve to be in a pack, basically like, maybe make them posable, but make them like a small pack that you can buy for a cheaper amount of money. So you have different price levels, and it's just like with Transformers, you have Core Class, which is smaller Transformers for like $10 to $12, and then you get bigger ones and more expensive ones. But I'm saying that there's different price levels that you could sell these things at, and it makes sense. So like something like this, that would be like the core class of Masters of the Universe, and you could sell these in little boxes and stuff for really cheap. And little kids like that aren't into the technical stuff with the line could maybe use this as a window to get into the line, because they would be able to buy these little characters like Cringer. Just make a posable Cringer action figure, basically, because he's a small cat. He's not huge. Just make him big enough to where he's Cringer, have the cute face and all that stuff. You don't have to do a lot with him. And then also, what if you're able to make armor that comes, like you could have wings that like literally pin into the back that you could take off, like ball joints or whatever. You could just put in. I learned this from Transformers. Transformers has ball joints on some of their older figures, some of the new ones too, but you could literally just peg it in, and it's there, So what if we did wings, like Sunman here? This is Masterverse, but the Sunman wings, we need more wing sets, because I really would like to have a character I want to make, but I want to have them have wings that are different, but I want them to be a Masters of the Universe type of figure, and I just want to make my own. And then also you get like this one with Lady Slither. You get the fact that you could take off the full bottom of her body and put a snake body on, which is very creative, and I'm glad they're utilizing that part of their brain, and they're trying to create something interesting that's kind of mixing and matching. See, they're already thinking like this, but they could maximize the amount of money they could make from this if they just went all the way and just basically handed it over to the fans and said, here's the parts, make what you want. I mean, that's just easy money, because then all they have to print is a couple arms and a couple legs or whatever, and they could just kind of mix and match and just throw it into a box or whatever and say, here you go. Put Masters of the Universe Origins on it and say, here's something for you. But of course, the stores probably wouldn't stock it because they barely stock anything now. They just sit on the shelf. Now, this is the last thing I want to talk about because this video is getting long. I want to make a Cthulhu character in the Origins line. I just always thought Cthulhu was cool. And also, by the way, anybody can do a story with Cthulhu in it, because I don't believe that I think the trademark is not owned by anybody. H.P. Lovecraft never trademarked the character to where you can't use it in your story. So I think that they don't have to get rights or anything to actually make a Cthulhu. Now, I'm not saying that they have to have that in Origins, but it's a character that would fit in there. And plus, I would like to have the wings and be able, since it's a mixing, matching type of line, I really would like to have the head and be able to have bodies and parts or whatever from the Origins line to actually mix and match and make a character that I could have whatever I want. But basically, I could make a Cthulhu and have him a little bit bigger maybe, but I doubt they'll do that, than an average Origins figure, because he's supposed to be huge. But, you know, you could just do different size classes like Transformers and have like monsters for Beastman or something, and have them be like 2 heads taller than the rest of the Origins figures and stuff like that. So you could have a different levels and also different mixing and matching. This line would do so much better if I had the power to just kind of say, here, we're going to do this mixing and matching, and we're going to go overboard with it, and we're just going to make it to where you guys can create your own figures. So I know this is a long way from how I started the video, because I started talking about, well, what is Masters of the Universe going to do with this line? It seems like they hate the fans or whatever, or maybe it seems like they hate the Origins line in general, because Masterverse seems to be in decent supply. It's just Origins that's hard to get new stuff. But yeah, I don't really want to go on too long because this video is getting pretty long. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section below, and like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.